Item number, where are we? 9. Chloe, New Zealand China Mayoral Forum attendance. Good afternoon again, Chloe.
Kia ora again, Councillors.
Exactly.
So this item, no doubt you will have read. Basically, what this is about is an opportunity for us to discuss whether we are going to attend the New Zealand China Mayoral Forum in September. What this has come, just to give you a bit of background, and then we can go to questions. The New Zealand China Mayoral Forum was established by Local Government New Zealand along with the Chinese People's Association for Friendships with Foreign Countries last year. And this was off the back of Ministry for Foreign Affairs NZ Inc. Initiative, which is looking at improving our collaboration as a country, working together, and their China strategy, which is to increase our relationships with China and to build towards increasing our GDP and growing our exports to the Chinese market. We kind of had a watching brief of this, weren't involved in the original program. It came around the core cities were involved in it. And earlier on this year, when we had the Ambassador Wang Lutong, who came to Taupo to bring the Vice Minister for Education, we had a conversation with him, and he requested that we look to attend this forum, given our level of investment and relationship with China, and to build those relationships. So basically what this paper is looking at is whether we would like to attend the forum and to build the relationship further, and potentially also while we're up there again visit Suzhou and Shaoxing to continue to build those relationships that are very strong at the moment and are flourishing. So I'll take any questions from there.
Thank you, Chloe. Any questions or queries? Councillor Krasowski.
Just comments, if I may. It seems to me to be illogical not to send the mayor over there, having already spent a substantial amount of time, money, resources, and having built personal as well as working relationships with the Chinese. And we have just recently witnessed the success of our recent visit, the mayor and myself, where a local businessman is sending a shipment of their goods over to China, and I've been in discussions with other local businesses who are keen to follow that track further down the road. We also know that there's potential for at least 1,000 Chinese businessmen to come over here, which would, well, as far as I'm concerned, can only be an economic boost for our economy. And for the sake of $5,000, I think it's a no-brainer as far as I'm concerned. And the sooner he goes, the better we'll all be up. As far as economic are concerned, Your Worship.
Thank you.
That's it.
Okay, thanks, Councillor Krasowski. Any other question?
I would just like an understanding.
Sorry, Councillor.
You said it all.
Through the
Mr.
chair.
Jollins.
Thank you, Your Worship. Can you please tell me what are the tangible benefits we will get as a district from this trip?
So from this specific trip, from our relationship in China?
From this trip.
Okay. So I think the big thing I'd say, which I think I've mentioned in chambers before about relationships with China, is that it's all about face time. It's something called guangxi, and guangxi is it's essentially trust and friendship and a relationship, and it goes both ways. So it's an opportunity for you to build that relationship and build on that credibility. So we have a lot of investment in our region from China. And as Councillor Krasowski, I knew I was going to screw that up, mentioned, we have a lot of opportunities that are opening up for our businesses sending product to China, and we already have a number of businesses who are. So building on that relationship is important. We've just, been, I think we're in the top 5 for, inwards investment for New Zealand. That's pretty significant. So we need to be seen to be building this relationship. The more that we can do to build the credibility of our district in China, the more opportunity that we will have. So that's from one side. The other thing I would say is that by attending this, we will be inviting the mayors of Shaoxing and Suzhou to attend the forum as well. This is obviously the Chinese need to sign this off, but once we have sign off that we will be attending, they will then get invited. That increases our level of relationship and potential partnership with those areas. I think the other thing to say is we have a number of investments that have come from China that we are building on at the moment and that we are continuing to progress. So these kinds of visits to foster that, and there is one in particular that we're wanting to foster that would be significantly benefited from this trip, that due to confidentiality I can't speak about in the chambers right now.
But is that related directly to this trip, which has been organised by the forum, or is that something that's in conjunction with other work that we're doing?
It would be a springboard, so it would be done in conjunction, but attending this forum, like I say, we will then make the opportunity to be able to foster these at the same time. I think as well to be operating as part of NZ Inc. with the New Zealand government, again builds our credibility.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Any other questions or queries? Councillor Park?
Just after being able to attend the Local Government New Zealand conference last week in Rotorua, and I thank my colleagues for the opportunity, I attended a masterclass on migration, economic development, etc., and it talked about sister city relationships and how those should be used to leverage economic development opportunities. It also talked about sort of constant innovation, being outward facing and connected, and that once you get that momentum with relationships, you should keep that and keep focused and have constant advocacy for those. Because if there's central government have an issue that they engage with migrants, they get them here, but then the ball's dropped, and I believe having the opportunity to be a part of these forums, which are under the Local Government New Zealand sort of umbrella as well, it gives us greater sort of credibility into particular projects that you were just talking about, which, so I wholeheartedly, I'd actually move the suggested resolution quite happily, and really look forward though, as Councillor John said, about the tangible outcomes and whatnot, that those we need to see those, and we need to keep on top of whatever happens there moving forward. I think for the amount of money, because I understand the sister city budget, what was about 20k?
I think it's 15 at the moment.
15,
yeah.
Right. I just think that amount of investment for what could happen for the big picture, and I'm here for the big picture, and I know that going on an international trip like that, it's not all nice flights and airport lounges and whatnot. You hit the ground running, you're jet lagged for the whole 3-4 days, you're on the ground and you're straight back on the plane again. So it is hard work, and I'm happy to move the suggested resolution.
Okay, thanks. Councillor Cousins?
There's 5.5 hours of eating on day one, I saw.
Well, we know you don't want it to go ahead.
No, I don't. I believe in connectivity and building relationships, but having watched TV this morning and seen that China's economy is reduced by 38% in the last 2 months, I think it is. That's quite... Sorry? Share market? Yeah, quite alarming.
Yeah, it's interesting. I could talk about what the Chinese government has done to prevent that reducing further, which is incredibly interesting as to what they're locking down.
I lived in Singapore for a year. I understand the Chinese culture. I understand what you talk about face-to-face and building relationships, but I don't think this is one for our level. I think it's done at the next level above us. Absolutely. So I won't...
Okay.
Through the chair, if we agree collectively to do this, I would please ask that we get a detailed report after it that is not just a download of what China's been up to on the internet. To be frank, I want to see a list of key objectives for going, and I want to see results. I want to see a report done against those objectives for when the people that attended get back, please.
Okay. All right. Well, it's been moved. We have a second. Thank you, Councillor Krasowski. Suggested resolution there. You attend. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against? Not that recorded. Mr. Cousins. Thanks, Chloe. Item number 10. Confirmation of reappointments to the Lake Taupo Protection Project Joint Committee. There's a slight change to the suggested resolution there. It's now Dr. Ian Q-Sabs. So Dr. Ian Q-Sabs and Maria Nepia to represent the Tūwharetoa. So it just confirms the appointment. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Stewart, seconded by Councillor Dollins. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against? Carried. Item number 11. And we got a late, we got a information last night from Ariel on this, Nick. Good afternoon again, Nick.
Afternoon. Apologies for the circulation of the draft submission yesterday. You can imagine that government always doesn't give us a huge amount of time to reply to reports such as this coming out of the Productivity Commission. The other thing that I'd say in terms of introduction is it's 323 pages. It purports on the cover to talk about using land for housing, and it heads off into all sorts of tangents in the report around water governance and rating and you name it, it goes there. As a result, we've at an officer level tried to pitch the submission on the couple of key issues that we think that we as a district need to put forward to the Productivity Commission, rather than getting stuck in all the detail about notification procedures for plan changes or who should be told what when a resource consent application comes in. So it's very much trying to pick those couple of key issues and aiming to hit those squarely at the Productivity Commission, rather than getting stuck in detail.
Great. Thank you, Nick. Well explained. Any questions for Nick? Councillor Cousins?
Through the Chair, interested in the Commission's report on point 6 about rating valuations.
Any other questions? Yeah, I just read that. Questions or queries? Okay. So, approves the submission to the Productivity Commission on the report using land for housing. I have a mover, please, for that. Thank you, Councillor Hickling. Seconded by Councillor Krasowski. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Against? Carries.
No.
All right, item number 12. Good afternoon, Tina.
So there's been a handout with an additional meeting, extraordinary council meeting, put in there for the 4th, 9:30 to 10, in relation to the Waikato Plan Agreement and terms of reference, so that needs to be signed off by the 8th of August, hence the need to have an extraordinary meeting.
Okay. All right, so we'll just amend that. You've got that, Shani? Any other questions or queries? All right.
So through the Chair, just in regards to the agenda item which was tabled regarding the workshop to do with the SIPS plan and the Tūwhare Street car park, will that come in at some point?
Yes,
I know it's just happened, but it will. It's a really quiet month, which is lovely to see, but just... we'll check our diaries and send the information out
as soon as we can.
Yep. Great, thanks.
Okay. Anyone wants to add any more meetings in there or anything? No? Good. All right. Suggested resolution. So that's amended. As the tabled one. Other Mover, please. Thank you, Councillor Hickling. Seconded by Councillor Truman. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against? Carried. Item number 13. I'm just going to, before anyone wants to comment further, we've been re-accredited as a Taupo safe community last week, and thank you to Councillor who attended, Councillor Hickling, I think, and Councillor, who else was there?
I know I couldn't.
It's you. Yeah. So that was obviously quite a big process that the team went through, so special thanks to Helmuth and his team on that. If we can pass that on, Rod, because it's not just you don't just tick a box, you've got to go through the hoops, and they spent the whole day here auditing and analysing, so they've given us that again, so which is fantastic. Any other members' reports that want to comment on? Councillor Johns?
Just wanted to make one comment on the Greening Taupo Steering Committee meeting that I went to last week. The committee just want to extend their thanks for the support that was given from Council to them in the LTP process. And they've got some exciting things coming up, and one of them will be the launch of Greening Taupo Kids in September. And the Minister of Conservation will be here for that, and Mr. Ridd's working with me to help support that event happen. So, yeah, I think it's going to be the 23rd of September, but there'll be some more details coming.
Great. Who's the Minister at the moment?
Maggie Barry.
24th. Maggie Barry.
Oh, she used to live here.
And the Bugman's coming too.
She used to live here,
He.
Maggie. Okay, Councillor Park.
It's customary for councillors to do a written report following attending a meeting which, ratepayers' funds are being used for. I haven't yet done mine, but I see in the councillors' weekly update all the presentations, the media releases and everything are included as attachments. Councillor Hickling, Jollins, myself and Your Worship were all there. I've got screeds a note and quite happy if any councillors would like to catch up for a coffee and go through any of those sessions. If there's a desire for written reports, I'm quite happy to do that as well. But as I sit here today, I haven't actually started that.
What does the other councillors, would they like a written report, or is that?
Could I make the suggestion? I mean, most of the speakers' notes are available. What would probably be of interest to me personally would be we all attended our own masterclass on a particular topic. Like I did the RMA masterclass. I'm more than happy just to write some key outtakes from that to share with you, just a couple of paragraphs, so that if that's helpful.
Mr. Cousins?
On that note, I don't know about some of your councillors, but my inbox was inundated the last couple of weeks with stuff in regards to local government. It was doing my head in. I was going to delete and picking out what I wanted to read, but I didn't.
The best presentation was from Kevin Roberts, Sergeant Sachi guy, wasn't he, Barry?
Yeah, I think that was the highlight of my day at the local body conference. I think that was well worth travelling through on that particular day. Gave you a lot of encouragement and incentive to communicate with the community in different ways.
I just sort of raised it from an accountability point of view. If members of the public were to ask, you've spent ratepayers' money attending these things, where's the report back? And that's a very good point that you can do so. It's so required, and I'm quite happy to meet with anyone at any time and discuss.
Cool. Cousins?
My members' report. There's a Tongariro has got a little hot potato at the moment where they're trying to float the idea of running a road through the town centre to rejuvenate the mall. I think it's going to be rather cost prohibitive, but at the end of the day, if the community wants it, then we're happy to support it, Maggie and I. I've left a message on Neil Ward's phone to give me what he thinks we will be doing at a targeted rate on every ratepayer if we did do it. It's going to cost about $2 million, we think. So I'm waiting for that to come back from him, just a rough estimation. But there seems to be a bit of traction for it in the Turangi community.
Cool.
Just
Thanks.
adding on to that, at the moment we're just like the community, Tongariro through Christine are just going around talking to different aspects and people in the community to get a feel for it, and the feel at the moment is very positive. So So it's just the springboard from where do we go from there with these ideas. It's still very much a work in progress.
Okay, thanks. Councillor Treman.
Yep. On the 5th of August from 5 till 7 we're having a community hui in Mangakino just to discuss the town centre upgrades. They're going to basically show the previous draft plan and just get the community to have their input, whether it still suits, whether there's things they want to change, and just as a starting point. So that's taking place.
So that will get invited to that, or
Anyone who wants to come can.
yep. Is that in?
It's in our local.
Who's organising?
So it's council.
Council.
Yep.
So they should put it in their diaries, I presume.
It's up to you.
Yeah, could you more, Tim? Thank you. Cool. 5th of August, actually not far away, is it? All right. So everyone else just give their reports to Shani. All that. Good. Okay. Thank you. Resolution there. Moved and seconded. Moved Hickling. Seconded Councillor Stewart. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Against? Carried. Do we want a quick coffee? Yeah, we'll move into confidence first, and then Devla can